Morning, morning. I had to check my watch, make sure I was saying morning and not afternoon. Yeah, we're before 12, yeah. Good to see everybody. We just got through our walkthrough, getting ready to go out to do a Thursday practice, and with that, I'll open it up.
Coach, you had 5 sacks in Friday's game. How good is this pass rush, this upcoming season that you're
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's like I told the guys, I mean, let's not be deceived. They didn't have all their top guys in there. I'm glad that it happened. You know, hopefully it gives us a little bit of momentum going forward, but let's see what happens in this next game and all the games after that. They don't count, unfortunately, in the preseason games.
You were kind of curious going into the season, it seemed like how your cornerback situation was going to work out. Going into, I think it was minicamp.
Yeah.
How do you feel like it's playing out?
Well, I think Mike's done a nice job, and obviously you can see that we feel that way because he's been working with the first group a lot. I think DeAndre Baker is still kind of working through that injury. That was a tough one. But I think he's getting better. Bo Keys has shown some bright spots. Chris Lamons is doing a terrific job on special teams, and he shows up. It's good to have a bunch of guys to work with and pick from, but still got a little bit of ways, and then we'll figure it out, in the next week.
We've seen you stick with Legarius on the slot. Is that something you feel like?
That's a good question. Listen, I think he's been really effective there, and then rather than change 2 spots, change 1, but we'll see. I mean, a lot of that will be dictated by how we do going forward, and it might change week to week, just depending on who we're playing.
Steve, what did you not see from Taco? That
Listen, those are hard decisions, first of all. Like when I texted him yesterday, because I didn't get a chance to see him in the morning, but I did text him to remember that he helped us win an AFC championship. And sometimes this happens in the league. But I think more than anything, I think some of the other guys jumped up and did a nice job. And I think what was good, I thought Brett made a good point. We give Taco a chance to maybe catch on with another team. So I wish him the best. I do.
You're talking about guys like Harris? Moore?
Well, I mean, you got the next group of guys there is you got Damone, you got Tim, you got Josh, right? You got a bunch of guys battling for positions. And we just thought it would be, if we knew we were going to go this direction, you'd have to ask Brett, but I think he felt like this would help Taco a little bit.
What about Mike Dan? Has he
Yeah.
seen his game?
Yeah, I think Mike, listen, I've talked about Mike a lot. I mean, you guys know how I feel about him, his intelligence, his natural ability. I think what Coach Daly and Terry Braden do with him is outstanding. I've just seen him. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was at Central Michigan, that went to Michigan for 1 year, and he just keeps doing this. And if he can keep doing that, I think he's going to help us.
Steve, I want to ask you about Juan Thornhill. Heck of a play on the ball, led to
Yeah.
an interception. Is that needed for his confidence?
Absolutely, I think for any DBs. You guys see that in slow motion? I did. I pulled off the TV copy. That was really, sometimes, you'd have to ask DBs this, but sometimes, I don't want to say easy, but guys make that catch more than they do the one that takes a little bit of time to think about. I mean, he just reacted and snatched it right out of the air. I thought it was a great play. And I do think it'll help his
Where
confidence.
are you at on the depth chart?
I'm sorry?
Where are you at on the depth chart?
Nothing's changed, I mean, we're still working our way through where we're going to be with that. But, I mean, one play wouldn't change it. It was a hell of a play.
Going back to the beginning of training camp, Juan was actually here with the rookies and the quarterbacks.
Yep.
What was the long-term training camp plan for Thornhill coming in? Was it always just to get him as many repetitions as possible?
Yeah, if you remember, you missed all the OTA time. And Juan and I talked. I thought that set him back a little bit mentally. We have a few wrinkles here and there, and so while that's happening, other guys are out there performing, and you want to reward those guys. So we've got a few guys there. We got to figure out who, where, when, who starts, who doesn't, and that's what the training camp's for. We got one more game.
You mentioned tackling is something that you wanted to pay attention to in training camp. What have you seen through 2 games?
Yeah, it's been. I think it's been pretty good. I think there's always room for improvement there. We had less missed tackles this past game than we did the previous, so that's a good sign. But the thing I presented to the guys early on was no preseason games last year. We opened up against Houston. I think we had like 14 missed tackles. Whatever that number was, it was really high. And then it slowly went down. But we don't want to be like that in the first regular season game this year. We'd like to get it down now and be the best tackling unit we can be on the game one. That's what we're trying to do.
Coach, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago about the iron sharpening during the one-on-ones. with what you've seen, obviously they were able to, display. I know you said that they didn't have the starters. That's not you all's fault.
Yeah.
But what you saw from that defensive line, I mean, what can they work on? What can they improve from what they did in last Friday?
Yeah, I'll tell. Listen, I'm going to answer. This might be off the side. I'm not trying to avoid the question, but this is what I said to the guys, 2 days ago. And I thought that was what I was impressed most with was the unit play. And what I meant by that was I saw 11 guys on however many plays that was playing together. To me, that's how you can be an effective defense. So even though it showed up as sacks, there probably was something good being done on the back end. I thought guys were pretty mentally in tune. The mindset was right for a second preseason game, on an away game, the travel, the whole thing. So I think the whole unit, I just hope that continues. Because if we play good unit defensive football, we can be pretty good, in my opinion.
Coach, have you seen enough from Nick Bolton from game 1 to game 2, and has he progressed?
Yeah, he didn't get as many reps in this second game. That was probably because we had some guys healthy. We anticipate he'll get a good dose this coming game and keep him on that same trajectory that he's been on.
In that linebacker group, last year I think you only kept 4 starting the season, and it's a lot of the same faces with Nick in there.
Yeah.
How much has that experience helped, and how deeper do you feel like that unit is now?
Well, we lost Damian Wilson, so there's one reduced, and then so it feels like the same numbers, just a different body. So the depth is, it just depends on what package we're in, whether we have depth or don't have depth, right? And that's dictated by what offenses do. This offense is going to be in a lot of what we, the 2 tight ends and a fullback and the whole thing. So we're going to need, 3. And I'm glad that we're facing this kind of offense, because a couple of weeks from now, we know what Cleveland likes to do with it. So we'll see how we do.
You talked about seeing how guys function between the whistle and the snap. That was one of your main things.
You remembered that? Yeah. I thought they did a good job. I mean, it's been really good. It's worked out good. Arizona went no huddle. And the first game we played, I can't remember who played the first game. Yeah, San Francisco. They didn't do that. So it was good to get some no huddle. We operated really well except for one situation, but we needed that whistle to snap. Maybe we'll get some of that. I mean, in the preseason game, Minnesota ran 1 or 2 no huddles, not in a 2-minute deal. Hope they do it again.
Are you looking at more of your young guys, or is it just as a whole?
As a whole, I mean, when that happens to us, the guy that unwinds it all is Hitch and Tyron, and to have those. But then when the young guys get in there, I was interested to see how that was going to happen. I thought they functioned pretty good.
I don't think we really asked much about it, but how has Joshua Kendall been looking so far?
Say it again.
How has Kendall been looking?
Oh, Kando, yeah. Josh, 59. I tell you, he got some natural ability. Got a ways to go. He's a young guy. For as big as he is, 6'5" or 6'6", whatever he is, they're all big to me, right? But he's a great knee bender. Like, he can bend. Like, if you watch him, for a big, tall guy, and hopefully that'll translate into some good football. I think Brendan and Terry are doing a great job with him, too.
Now, understanding he's missed a little bit of time, just what tells you that maybe Willie Gay is ready for his expanded role potentially this year?
Yeah, a little bit of that's based on last year. He loves the game of football. Listen, that guy goes in there, the energy level goes like that. And he's done things, he's been working with Matt, and mentally he's so far advanced from where he was a year ago. No OTAs, we already talked about that, right? And hopefully that'll have him hit the ground running in game 1 and not learning as he goes like he kind of did last year.
With everything that you're trying to add on to the defense this year, how many roles does a guy like Dan Sorensen have, going from the safety down to the linebacker, and how much of that is perhaps going to expand even this year?
Yeah, I don't know that people realize how tough that is in the course of the game. The first thing Dan has to remember is what package are we in? Like, in between whistle to snap, right? So I always make sure whoever's going in, go to Dan first. Tell him he's a linebacker now, tell him he's a safety now. He does a great job with that. I don't, as far as expanding it, I'm not sure. I'd like to get some other guys involved, but we're sure glad we got him, because he's like the Army Swiss knife for us in that regard. Good? All right, thanks.
Thank you.